The ticket tore clean down the middle. Amara Osei didn't gasp, didn't step back, just watched the two halves flutter to the polished airport floor like wounded birds. The gate agent, Sharon, according to her name tag, crossed her arms over her navy blazer. Next time, don't waste our time with fake documents. Around them, Terminal 3 of Dubai International hummed. Announcements in Arabic and English. The mechanical whir of walkways. Travelers streaming past, some slowing to stare at the black woman in the simple linen dress standing perfectly still while her first-class ticket to Accra lay in pieces at her feet. Amara's phone buzzed in her back. She ignored it. You going to leave? Sharon's voice climbed. Or do I need to call security? Amara bent slowly, picked up both halves of the ticket. The paper was thick, expensive, the kind that didn't tear easily. Sharon had needed both hands. This was a valid boarding pass, Amara said quietly. Sure it was. Sharon's laugh was sharp. You people always have some story. Probably printed it off some scam website. You think we don't see this every day? You people. The words landed like stones. Amara held Sharon's gaze. 5 seconds. 10. Then she turned and walked away from the gate. Behind her, Sharon's voice. That's what I thought. 6 hours earlier the car had been late. Not by much, just 12 minutes. But enough that Amara almost missed the driver entirely. She'd been standing outside her hotel in Dubai Marina, carry-on at her feet, watching taxis pass, when the black Mercedes finally pulled up. Ms. Osei, the driver barely looked at her, cutting it close. She'd said nothing, just loaded her own bag when he didn't move to help. The ride to the airport took 40 minutes. The driver spent most of it on a phone call in Arabic, laughing at something Amara didn't need to understand to recognize as casual cruelty. Every few minutes, he'd glance at her in the rearview mirror. His expression never changed. At the terminal, he'd popped the trunk without getting out. Amara tipped him anyway. Not much, just enough to be correct. Inside, the airport gleamed. All glass and steel and money. She'd been through here twice before, once on business, once routing through to Nairobi, and each time she'd marveled at how a space could feel so vast and so indifferent. The first-class check-in line was empty. The agent there, a young man with perfect hair, had taken her passport, scanned it, frowned. One moment, he'd disappeared into a back office. Returned with a woman. Older. Manager, probably. Ms. Osei, there's a flag on your reservation. Amara had waited. It says here the ticket was purchased with a flag credit card. We'll need additional verification. The card belongs to my company, Amara said. Osei Global Consulting. Would you like the account number? The manager's smile was thin. That won't be necessary. But we'll need to process this manually. It may take time. 20 minutes later, they'd cleared her through. No apology. Just a boarding pass printed with barely concealed reluctance. Amara had moved through security, through passport control, toward her gate. That's where she'd met Sharon. The gate for Accra was at the end of a long concourse. Amara had arrived early, force of habit, and approached the desk to confirm her seat. Sharon had looked up from her screen, looked at Amara, then back at the screen. Boarding pass. Amara handed it over. Sharon scanned it, frowned, scanned again. This isn't coming up. I just checked in. Well, it's not in the system. Sharon's tone was clipped. Where'd you get this? The check-in counter. An hour ago. Which counter? First class. Sharon's expression shifted. Something cold sliding into place. You checked in at first class. Yes. For this flight. Yes. Sharon studied the boarding pass like it was written in code. Then she looked at Amara again. Slower this time. Taking in the linen dress from a Ghanaian designer nobody here would recognize. The leather bag that wasn't a brand name. The locks. Pulled back with a simple tie. Can I see your passport? Amara handed it over. Sharon flipped through it. Paused at the visas. UK, China, Brazil, South Africa. You travel a lot. It wasn't a question. For work. What kind of work? Consulting. Sharon's smile didn't reach her eyes. What kind of consulting? Amara felt the shift. The air pressure dropping. Infrastructure development. Telecommunications. Aha. Sharon set the passport down. Picked up her phone. Took a photo of Amara's boarding pass. What are you doing? Amara asked. Verifying. Verifying what? That you didn't print this yourself. The words hung there. Around them, other passengers began gathering. A family with children. 2 businessmen in suits. An elderly couple holding hands. I didn't print anything myself, Amara said evenly. Your colleague issued that pass 1 hour ago. So you say? You can call the check-in desk. I'm calling security. Amara's pulse didn't quicken. She'd been here before. Different airports. Different uniforms. Same script. That's unnecessary. Let me decide what's necessary. Sharon was dialing now. Then stopped. Set the phone down. You know what? Let me save us all some time. She'd picked up the boarding pass and torn it in half. Now, walking away from the gate, Amara's phone buzzed again. She pulled it out. 3 missed calls. All from the same number. A Dubai number she didn't recognize. She almost declined the 4th call when it came. Then she answered. Ms. Osset, a man's voice. Accented English. Formal. Yes. This is Kareem Mansour. I'm the director of operations for this terminal. Could you please tell me where you are right now? Amara stopped walking. Who told you to call me? A pause. Ma'am, I'd prefer to discuss this in person. Please. Your location? She gave it. Don't move. I'll be there in 2 minutes. The line went dead. Amara stood in the middle of the concourse, torn ticket in hand, and waited. He arrived in 90 seconds. Kareem Mansour was tall, 50s, gray at the temples, moving with the kind of speed that suggested actual panic. 2 other staff members trailed behind him. A younger woman with a tablet and a security officer who looked confused about why he was there. Ms. Osei. Kareem stopped 3 feet away, didn't extend his hand, just stood there, breathing slightly hard, staring at the torn boarding pass she still held. May I ask what happened? Amara's voice was flat. Your gate agent decided my ticket was fake. She destroyed it and threatened to call security. The woman with the tablet went pale. Kareem closed his eyes briefly. Sharon Kellerman. Gate 47. Yes. And she tore your boarding pass. You can see that she did. He turned to the security officer. Go to gate 47. Find Sharon Kellerman. Tell her to step away from the desk immediately and report to my office. Do not let her make any announcements or speak to any other passengers. Go. The officer left at a jog. Kareem turned back to Amara. Ms. Osei, I cannot begin to apologize. Then don't. He stopped. I don't want an apology, Amara continued. I want to know how your staff decided a valid boarding pass was fraudulent based solely on looking at the passenger holding it. The silence was heavy. The woman with the tablet, her badge read Nadia, spoke quietly. Ma'am, I've pulled your reservation. Your ticket wasn't flagged. There's no note about verification issues. The system shows a clean check-in at 14:47 local time. Then why? There's no reason, Nadia said. Sharon had no cause to question your pass. Kareem's jaw tightened. Ms. Osei, please come with me. We'll issue you a new boarding pass immediately, and I don't want to board anymore. He blinked. I'm sorry. I'm not getting on that plane. Not after this. Ms. Osei, please. We can move you to a private lounge, arrange. You think a lounge fixes this? Kareem stopped. Really looked at her. Amara's voice stayed level. Your employee profiled me. She assumed I was a criminal because of how I look. And when I told her the truth, she destroyed my ticket and humiliated me in front of a terminal full of people. A lounge doesn't fix that. A first-class upgrade doesn't fix that. You're right. Kareem's voice dropped. You're absolutely right. But please let me make this less terrible than it already is. Amara studied him. Saw exhaustion. Shame. What's your plan? She asked. New ticket. Any flight you want. Any destination. And I'm suspending Sharon pending a full investigation. Investigation into what? You already know what she did. Into whether she's done it before. He met her eyes. If she has, we need to know how many others we've done this to. That stopped Amara. She'd expected defense. Excuses. Not this. You'll actually investigate. Yes. And if you find a pattern, then we'll terminate her and review every single interaction she's had with passengers in the last 2 years. Nadia was typing rapidly on her tablet. Sir, we should also pull security footage. If this happened at the gate, cameras would have caught it. Do that. Now. Nadia moved away, phone to her ear. Kareem turned back to Amara. Please. At least let me get you somewhere comfortable while we sort this. Amara looked at the torn ticket in her hands. Then at him. I want to see the footage, she said. I'm sorry. The security footage. Of what happened at the gate. I want to watch it with you. Kareem hesitated. That's. Ms. Osei, I'm not sure that's. I'm not asking. Another pause. Then, all right. Yes. Of course. The security office was cold and windowless and smelled like burned coffee. Four monitors lined one wall, each split into 9 camera feeds. A technician, bored looking until Kareem walked in, scrambled to attention. Pull gate 47, Kareem said. Last 30 minutes. The technician typed. The center monitor went full screen. There was Amara, walking up to the desk. There was Sharon, looking up. No audio, but the body language was clear. Sharon's posture stiffening, her expression closing. Amara handed over the boarding pass. Sharon scanned it. The screen showed her frown. Scan again. Then the conversation, one-sided, Sharon's mouth moving fast, Amara standing still. The passport exchange. Sharon photographing the boarding pass. Then, slow it down, Kareem said quietly. The technician complied. Frame by frame, Sharon picked up the boarding pass, looked directly at Amara, and tore it deliberately, slowly, making sure it was seen. The technician whistled low. That's termination, Kareem finished. His voice was stone. On screen, Amara bent to pick up the pieces. Sharon laughed. You couldn't hear it, but you could see it. Head thrown back, hand on hip. Amara walked away. Sharon turned to another passenger, a white man in a business suit, and her whole demeanor changed. Smile, warmth, efficiency. Kareem stopped the playback. The room was silent. Ms. Osei, he said finally, I need you to understand something. This airport serves 26 million passengers a year. We have staff from 70 countries, and every single one of them is trained on anti-discrimination policy. They sign documents, attend workshops. This isn't supposed to happen, but it did. Yes. He looked at the frozen image on screen. Sharon's face, mid-laugh. It did. Nadia reappeared in the doorway. Sir? Sharon's in your office. And there's something you should see. What? Her personnel file. She has 3 complaints, all from black passengers, all dismissed as misunderstandings. Kareem's expression went cold. Who dismissed them? Her previous supervisor. He retired 6 months ago. Kareem stood, looked at Amara. Would you be willing to make a formal statement? It'll be part of the termination record. Amara nodded slowly. Good. I'll need 20 minutes. Wait here, please. He left. Nadia followed. The technician glanced at Amara. You want water or something? No. Thank you. He nodded and turned back to his monitors. Amara sat in the cold room, staring at the screen, and finally let herself feel the anger she'd been holding back. Not the hot, explosive kind. The cold, calculating kind that knew exactly what it wanted. Kareem returned in 18 minutes. His face was unreadable, but his shoulders carried the weight of something final. It's done, he said. Sharon Kellerman is no longer employed by this airport. Security is escorting her out now. Amara said nothing. I've also requested a full audit of passenger complaints filed in this terminal over the last 3 years. If there are patterns, and I believe there are, we'll address them. With policy changes, additional training, and accountability. That's a start, Amara said quietly. Kareem sat across from her. Ms. Osei, may I ask what you do? For work? I told Sharon. Infrastructure consulting. Telecommunications. For whom? She paused. Then, myself. I own the firm. And the name? Osei Global Consulting. Recognition flickered across his face. You're the Amara Osei. She waited. You built the fiber optic network across West Africa. The one connecting 8 countries. 9 now. He sat back. My God. You were traveling to Accra for a meeting with Ghana's Minister of Communication. We're finalizing the contract for Phase 2. Kareem covered his face with his hands. When he lowered them, he looked 10 years older. She destroyed the ticket of someone traveling to sign a multi-million-dollar infrastructure deal. Billion, Amara corrected softly. It's a $1.3 billion contract. The room went silent. Kareem's voice was hoarse. What can I do? You've already done it. You fired her. You're auditing complaints. That's more than most would. It's not enough. No, Amara agreed. It isn't. But it's something. He nodded slowly. Your flight boards in 45 minutes. I've arranged a private escort. You'll board first, before anyone else. And I've upgraded. He stopped. You were already in first class. I was. I've comped the ticket entirely, and provided a voucher for any future travel. It's inadequate. I know. Amara stood. Mr. Mansour, I don't want compensation. I want your word that this doesn't happen to someone else. Someone who doesn't have my resources or my name. Someone who can't afford to miss their flight or fight back. You have it. Good. She picked up her bag. Then let's go? I have a meeting to get to. The private escort was a quiet woman named Fatima who spoke only to ask if Amara needed anything. She didn't. They walked through the terminal, past the shops and restaurants and throngs of travelers, and arrived at gate 47. Sharon was gone. A new agent stood at the desk. Older, kind-faced. Ms. Osei, she said warmly. We're ready for you. Amara handed over her new boarding pass. The agent scanned it, smiled, and opened the gate. Safe travels. The jetway was empty. Amara's footsteps echoed. At the aircraft door, the flight crew was waiting. The captain, a black woman with gray-streaked hair, stepped forward. Ms. Osei, welcome aboard. I'm Captain Abina Mensah. Amara stopped. You're Ghanaian. I am. From Kumasi. Abina's smile was knowing. I heard what happened at the gate. I'm sorry. It's over. Is it? Abina's eyes were sharp. These things are never really over. Amara studied her. No, I suppose they're not. But we keep flying anyway. Yes, we do. Abina gestured toward the cabin. Your seat is ready. And Ms. Osei, the contract you're signing in Accra? It's going to change everything for us. Thank you. Amara's throat tightened. You know about that? Everyone knows. You think we don't keep track of what our own are building? Our own. The words settled like a blessing. Amara nodded once and entered the cabin. Her seat was by the window. Leather. Spacious. A far cry from the crowded flights she'd taken as a student, as a young consultant scraping by. She sat, buckled in, pulled out her phone. 7 new messages. 3 from her team in Accra. 2 from the minister's office. 1 from her mother. She opened her mother's text first. Safe flight, my love. Make us proud. Amara typed back, always. Then she opened her laptop. The contract documents were already loaded. 200 pages of terms, specifications, timelines. The work that would connect millions of people to high-speed internet. The work that would create jobs, infrastructure, opportunity. The work Sharon had assumed she couldn't possibly be doing. Amara worked through takeoff, through the meal service she declined, through the captain's announcement that they'd reach cruising altitude shortly. Somewhere over the Mediterranean, she allowed herself to close her eyes. And she thought about Sharon, not with anger now, just clarity. Sharon would find another job, probably tell people she'd been wrongfully terminated, probably never understand what she'd done wrong. But 3 complaints were now on record. An audit was underway, and the next black woman who walked up to that desk wouldn't face what Amara had faced. That was enough. It had to be. They landed in Accra at dawn. The city spread below, red earth and green trees, and buildings catching the first light. Home, in the way any place on the continent felt like home. Amara deplaned first, walked through the jet bridge into Kotoka International Airport. Her driver was waiting. James, who'd worked with her for 5 years and knew not to ask questions after long flights. Welcome back, Ms. Osei. Thank you, James. The drive to her hotel took 30 minutes. She showered, changed, reviewed her notes. At 9 a.m., she walked into the Ministry of Communication. The minister, a woman in her 60s with sharp eyes and no patience for nonsense, stood to greet her. Amara, I heard you had trouble in Dubai. Word traveled fast. Nothing I couldn't handle. The minister smiled. I never doubted it. Shall we begin? They sat, lawyers on both sides. Contracts spread across the table. By noon, it was done. Signatures. Handshakes. Photographs for the press release. $1.3 billion. 9 countries. Fiber optic cable stretching across thousands of miles. Internet access for 15 million people who'd never had it before. Jobs. Education. Opportunity. The minister walked Amara to the door. You know what you're building here. Infrastructure. More than that. You're building proof. Proof that we can do this ourselves. That we don't need to wait for someone else to connect us. Amara smiled. That was always the point. I know. The minister squeezed her hand. Fly safe. That night, back in her hotel room, Amara stood by the window. Accra hummed below. Traffic and voices in life. Her phone buzzed. An email from Kareem Mansour. Subject, update. She opened it. Ms. Osei, the audit has begun. We've identified 12 additional complaints similar to yours. All dismissed. All involving passengers of color. We're reopening every case. Sharon Kellerman has been banned from working at any airport in our network. I know this doesn't undo what happened to you, but I hope it prevents it from happening again. Thank you for your grace and your strength. Kareem Mansour. Amara read it twice. Then she closed the laptop, made herself tea, and sat in the quiet of her room, watching the city lights, thinking about tomorrow's meetings and next month's projects and all the work still ahead. Sharon Kellerman was already a memory. The contract was real. The infrastructure would be built. And somewhere, a young Ghanaian girl would grow up with internet access she wouldn't have had otherwise. Would learn, build, create. Would never know the name of the woman who'd made it possible. That was fine. Amara Osei had never needed recognition. Just results. She sipped her tea, smiled at the city below, and let the exhaustion of the day finally settle. Tomorrow would come. There would be more work, more meetings, more contracts, more people who'd underestimate her, and more moments she'd have to prove them raw. But tonight she rested, unbothered, unbroken, exactly as she'd always been.